Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking all things about hands, foot, and mouth disease. Our family did get hit with it. I just want to explain what the difference is, that all of our kids had different symptoms. I got it myself as well, and we are all different. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. We're just outside enjoying. There's a beautiful, I just love, anybody knows me knows that I love fall. So jumping in, hands, foot, and mouth disease is very common in kids, like infants and kids under the age of 5. So it tends to really, and it's very contagious. So it goes through daycares very quickly. So adults don't normally get it, or it's not as common for adults to get it. Anybody can get it, but the immunity to it lasts for years. So because I did get it, I'm assuming that I just was never subjected to it. Either that, or because of having twins right now and just being so run down, maybe I just do not have much of an immune system. So what exactly is hands, foot, and mouth? Is a viral infection that is very contagious. Symptoms, like I mentioned, can be very different. So usually it starts off with a mild fever. You can have sore throat, feeling sick, loss of appetite. You can have blisters on your hands, foot, and inside your mouth. It can look like a rash. For different people, it can either be white or gray, it can be red. And of course, your young child is going to be fussy as they are uncomfortable. So as I mentioned, we all got it very different. So there is a 3 to 6 day incubation time. So that's the time that you first were in contact with it, that it takes to show symptoms. So I would say with the twins, they both had started off with a mild fever, and our little guy Bo here, he had a rash around his mouth. I'll show you a clip right here. It was around his mouth, and someone told me that must be signs of teething. So I thought, okay, he just has a teething rash and he's fussy because of that, but he wasn't really eating. So he had already had a couple teeth come in. So I thought, no, it can't be that, because he already has some teeth that came in and we didn't have this rash before. He did not get any really blisters or spots or anything on his hands and feet, whereas his brother started off with a fever as well. He didn't have a rash around his mouth, but you could tell that he was having a hard time swallowing. He had the blisters on his hands and feet, and that was pretty much most of the signs. They both had loss of appetite. They both were fussy and just not really wanting their bottle. So we were giving them Tylenol to help make them feel a little bit more comfortable. Whereas their sister, who is almost 3 years old, she'll be 3 in a few months, she is the one that brought it home. I have no idea where it came from, because nobody at daycare had it. The only place we really go is gymnastics. I hadn't heard that anybody else had it either, so I don't know where it came from. But I didn't even know that she had it until it was all over and the boys had it. She just had a little bit of a fever, and after, when the boys had it, when she was pretty much done, I did see a couple little spots on her feet. That's how I knew that she had it. But other than that, she was totally fine. So she was our carrier, the one that brought it home, I'm assuming. And that was all that she had. Whereas myself, because I can look at, the boys did both have it in their throats. I'm not going to pry open their mouth and take a picture, but I did manage to get a picture of the back and top of my mouth. It was kind of tricky, but I had the red spots. I had a bunch of what looked like cankers. It almost looked like red and blister spots. That's a big yawn, buddy. I started getting the spots on my fingertips. It was all along the fingertips and on my feet. That turned into kind of a little bit of blisters, not really. Actually, my fingers are just peeling now, and we are 2 weeks post hands, foot, and mouth. So I'd say my biggest symptom was the sore throat. It was awful. It was the worst sore throat I have ever had. I actually thought it was hands, foot, and mouth. I thought for sure that's what we had. I even went to the doctors and had a throat swab, but it came back negative, and the doctor didn't really seem to diagnose us with hands, foot, and mouth at that time. So That was probably the worst part for me, was just my throat. I could not eat. I've never been in a situation where I can't eat. Even drinking water or smoothies, stuff like that, was not very fun. So the causes of this are from basically body fluids. So even the fluid, the pus from the blisters, if you get, that can be contagious. The saliva, your stool, nose secretions. They do say usually it is transferred from mouth. So as we know, like, kids all have their hands in their mouth and they're touching everything, so surfaces and everything like that. So that's where usually kids pick it up from. That's why it goes through daycare so quickly. So just going over quickly any complications that you can get from hand, foot, and mouth. So there are a couple. These are very rare, but it can cause encephalitis, so inflammation of the brain. This, like I said, is very rare. And the second one is viral meningitis. But those are very uncommon, very rare, but it can attack your system and lead to those in a very rare situation. So the only thing you can really do to prevent is obviously wash your hands like crazy, washing your hands and cleaning and disinfecting any surfaces. But it's, for me, I know when I'm feeding this little guy, actually a lot of times he is shoving his fingers or trying to shove his fingers in my mouth. I will not be letting that happen anymore, because after that, I just don't want to get sick again. But that's basically our hand, foot, and mouth experience in a nutshell. But if you have any questions or anything like that, please comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye guys.